It's time for Danny and I to reveal our top 3 teams that need to make a trade. Danny, give me your number 3 team. So we'll go in reverse order. So the team that out of your 3 that least likely needs to make a trade is who?
Oh man, number 3, you have Milwaukee. I'm gonna have Philly at number 3.
Okay.
I think Philly needs to make the move to put them. They are on the line of contention, but I think to put them over and make them for sure a contender, they need. They have a lot of people at the wing. Too many of the same guys that they got from LA when they traded for James. They're still a good team. I just don't think they're good enough to get over that hump to beat the Boston and Milwaukee's over there, or even your New York Knickerbockers who've been playing really well. They made some great moves. So that could be a battle for them. Even Cleveland, if they get hot, you just never know. But I think they're number 3. That they're not the most urgent team that needs to make a trade, but they are up there. And my other 2, I'm gonna give to you. They need to make trades more urgently than the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, I definitely thought about the Philadelphia 76ers, but when you think what they have this upcoming summer, the max salary slot for 2 different players and the ability to keep Tyrese Maxey. Yes, I understand you want to maximize every single season that you have Joel Embiid, but I would not say they need to force a trade because you don't want to mess up the ability you have in the future with that flexibility of having 2 max players on the roster plus Tyrese Maxey. So
You know how I feel
yes,
about that.
yes, I know. They
The
should
win
make
now
a trade.
situation, the
Yeah,
summer, F all that summer stuff. Win now, you need to make a trade now if you want to get over that second round hump, which you haven't
yeah.
done since Joel's been there. You need to make a move now.
I understand that. I understand that. I'll give you my number 3 team, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, I know a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, this is such a young team. Why do they have to do anything to improve their chances? Let them
Mhm.
learn on the fly. No, bump that. Not when you're Sam Presti and you have 25 draft picks at your disposal. You're not going to use all of them. You might as well start turning them in now and give this young team a taste or a better chance at having a good win, a good taste in their mouths when it comes to the playoffs. Pause. Now, if you look at their roster, they are number 29, number 29 in rebounding rate.
And
And I
rebounding.
don't want to see them go into the playoffs and they simply lose a series because Rudy Gobert was
They
just too
can't
big,
rebound.
or
Okay.
Nikola Jokic was just too big, or the 3 center combo they have with the Clippers of Zubac and Plumlee, and I forget the
Mhm.
what's
So
the
they
guy?
need 1 or 2 bigs. They need 1 or 2 centers.
They need Daniel Tice. Yeah, 1 or 2 centers. And it doesn't have to be some great center, but just somebody with some force, with some
A
girth
big
that could
body that's
actually
good
so
enough
to not
to
look.
guard one of those guys.
It would be so dispiriting for them to have one of the best records in the NBA all season, and they just get to the playoffs and they just get bludgeoned simply because they can't
Yeah.
rebound or simply because they can't defend the paint. Like that, I think would be a disheartening experience for those players. If they lose a series, let them lose it just by the talent deficit or the experience deficit. But just to get beaten on the boards, get outscored by 20 points in the paint every game, I think that'd be pretty whack. Considering, again, Sam Presti has like 30 draft picks at his disposal.
Agreed, and that's why my number 1 team, the team
Oh
that
no,
I think is number
you
1 that
jump
needs
into
the
your
most.
number 1. What about your number
I'm not
2?
skipping. I'm just telling you the reason why I have them at number 1 is because they need to make the fixes from
Oh,
last
you
year.
have
And I'll
Thunder
tell you
at
my
number
number 2.
1.
I don't have the number 1. I have
Oh,
number
okay,
2.
okay.
My number 2 team is the Golden State Warriors. They need to shake
Mm.
something up. I know they have their 3 guys, but they need to get in the playoffs. You can't sign all those guys back, give Draymond $100 million, and not be in the playoffs. So in order for them to, they've been playing a little bit better, but in order for them to get in the play-in for sure and be in at least 7, 8 seed of the playoffs, they need to shake something up, and that's either trade Wiggs or somebody else or pieces, him, Wiggs, and CP. I don't know, to get some younger, fresh energy and get a solid big that can guard Jokic, or something that makes your system run a little bit smoother. I don't know what it is, but they need to do something. But my number 1 team, I will tell you, and the reason is also because of Nikola Jokic, who they need rebounding, not only rebounding, but they need a bigger body to help guard Nikola Jokic.
Go ahead, give me your number 1 team.
You gonna give me your number 2, or you just gonna jump right into my number 1?
I'll give you my number 2. I'll make it quick and easy because I think it's pretty much understood.
Mhm.
The Milwaukee Bucks. You have to play
Okay.
defense. You have, and yes, I know there's a belief that Doc Rivers will make the situation better, and he probably will. But
They
at the
need
end
to
of the
make
day,
trades.
it's not just a coaching thing, it's a personnel thing. And they clearly don't have a perimeter defender that's going to be able to stop a Tyrese Halliburton, that's going to be able to stop a Jaylen Brown, that's going to be able to stop a Jalen Brunson, is going to be able to stop,
Mhm.
name your guard here in the Eastern Conference. How about a Tyrese Maxey? They
There
need
you
big
go.
time personnel help with the Milwaukee Bucks. Scheme won't fix it, the issues that they have. So, and obviously, when you make a trade for Dame Lillard, you expect to at least be in the conference finals. And that is on the threat of not happening. They could mess around and get a team like the Pacers in the first round and be up and out of there and be pretty damn disappointing considering the moves that they made.
Mhm.
I think that that is 100% my number 2 team that needs to make a trade by this end of this trading deadline. What's your number 1?
You have some great teams, but OKC, I do think they do need to make a trade, but they're one of the teams that don't need to win now. Milwaukee Bucks do need to win now, but they do have enough pieces to get something done and maybe make something special happen. They paid a lot of guys and brought them back. Yeah, they may need some perimeter defense, but they have enough to get it done. They just have enough scoring to get it done, but they do need defense. For me, I said the Los Angeles Lakers. They
Mm,
need to make a trade, and I think the trade that they're looking to make may be the wrong one because they're looking at guards. Yeah, they may need guards, but to me, I don't think you need another ball handler. You already have
mm,
D'Angelo. He meshes well with it. You already have Austin Reeves. You had Schroeder. You had a bunch of other options that you used in the past that were solid, but that wasn't the reason why you didn't make it to the finals. You had nobody to guard Nikola Jokic. I'm gonna say nobody. You had AD, but AD needs help. And we all know, and he's even said it on the podcast before, that the teams that give him the toughest problems are the two big fronts that guard him that way. When there wasn't
mm,
AD and a JaVale McGee behind him, when there was AD and a Dwight Howard behind him, or Dwight Howard and AD could play off of him behind him
mm.
and block shots. So they need to find a big. Yeah, guards cool, but I think if you're gonna look for guards, you need more 3-and-D guys. But you need a big, you need a center, you need somebody to guard Nikola Jokic. Because Bron, once he turns it on, it's already go time. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be where they need to be, and they're going to be a team you don't want to face, regardless if they're a 7, 8 seed or 2 seed. They're one of the teams that's going to be locked in and have the tools and talent. He's going to have them ready to be able to make it to the Western Conference Finals. Now, how do you get over that hump? You got to go through Denver. You got to go through the Clippers, and both those teams have bigger bigs and more multiple bigs to be able to give Anthony Davis a lot of to tire him out. So he needs help.
I like that. That's I like that insight because I think a lot of people are looking at guards, but you're totally right. Um, they need a JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, and they need an OG Anunoby. They had those. If they had those 3 players, they'd
I
be.
do
They
like the
might.
fact
They
that
might
they're
mess around
looking
and be in
at
the finals.
they're looking at Dorian Finney-Smith and Royce O'Neal. Those are the guys that they should for sure look at and have. Those are great role because Brooklyn has the most best role players you could
Wings,
find
yeah.
package-wise, the wings you could find. So yes, that's a great package. But outside of that, that doesn't solve your issue, what you had last year. You guys got smoked by Denver because of this Serbian dude that you can't stop. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna stop him, but at least slow him down and junk it up. It's harder for him to operate when you have 2 bigs because he can't score, but also that other big can also guard Aaron Gordon cutting down the lane, catching
Yes.
lobs. It makes it easier for that's what makes him so effective. They obviously have some great shooting, but they have Nikola Jokic and Aaron Gordon, which makes everything run. Because you can't double him. You have Aaron Gordon for a dunk or you have MPJ for a three. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have somebody to guard the rim or guard Jokic and body him and also rebound, but somebody else that can play both and also help with
And play
Jokic and
off
then
and
get back to
help.
Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, you're right. You're
You know?
totally right. Feels like a lot of people are missing the mark there. That's some good insight. All right, my number 1 team. This kind of might sound a couple odd to some people. Go with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I'm saying that because after this year, Donovan Mitchell only has 1 year left on his contract. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers are a damn good regular season team. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, obviously
Mhm.
Donovan Mitchell. And this past summer, they got some shooting to help alleviate some of the issues that they saw in the playoffs last year, but there just not being enough space for Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland to operate the way they would probably want to. With that being said, I'm still skeptical of the Evan Mobley and Jared Allen front court, and I feel
Mhm.
pretty confident that that's the front court they're going to go into the NBA playoffs with. And if they go into the NBA playoffs with that front court and the spacing is once again compromised by them playing together, and they end up losing in the first round, well, There's not going to be a great package for Donovan Mitchell because Donovan Mitchell's going to hold all of the leverage in the situation, similar to what just happened with Pascal Siakam. If the Toronto Raptors
Mhm.
got a better package from the Sacramento Kings or from whatever, maybe the Dallas Mavericks, it didn't matter because Pascal Siakam hold the power and saying, I'm not going to re-sign. So it changes the package you're available to get. That is why, Danny, the Cleveland Cavaliers need to make a great impression upon Donovan Mitchell going into the last year of his deal. And I honestly, and I'm not wishing this upon Cleveland Cavaliers fans, I honestly feel like Donovan Mitchell will be the player, the big time player that leaves his team this offseason because this Jared Allen and Evan Mobley thing, I don't think it's going to work. Point blank, period.
Hmm. I don't disagree with you. I could see Don leaving if things don't change, if they don't, I won't say win now, but at least make an impression that they can win and win soon in the future. Because he loves it. He loves the game. He studies it. He wants to win. And if he doesn't feel he has a chance there, he will go somewhere else. I do think maybe a change on the roster may change. But I think some other things need to change as well. And it may not just be roster wise. So if things roster wise changes, it'll give him more help. But if you have other things changes, my understanding, um, it was obviously this injuries. It's hard to say this year. And they expected to be a lot better than what they were because of the pieces they picked up. But superstars, if they don't feel appreciated or if they don't feel like they're getting what they're asking for, when I think he did get some of the things he did ask for, and he did get some shooting, which helps him. But if they're still
I
lacking some of the things that he's asking for piece wise and personnel and playing wise and, you know, calling this, that, and
yeah,
other, it's gonna be tough to keep him. So it may
it's
not just be roster wise moves. So we'll see what happens there.
yeah, it's tough because they have a good rotation of players. I just don't
Mhm.
know if it's actually something that could survive a 7-game series. Great regular season team, but I'm still very much skeptical of how they make it work in the playoffs.